Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Command List. Playing on the left-hand side of the screen is me, Raging Demon. And also playing on the left-hand side of the screen is Chaotic Jim. We have a dramatic battle today. On the right-hand side of the screen is Rick from Pixel Project Radio. How's it going, Rick?
Hey fellas, thanks for inviting me over. I don't often get a chance to talk about fighting games, but I'm really excited to talk about this one in particular.
Yeah, and thanks for coming or getting up at 5 in the afternoon to do this with us.
Okay, for the record, for all the listeners out there who are listening to this decades in the future, I would have been fine pushing this back, but these fellas, they insisted. They've got grit and determination, and they said, we're up and at 'em, so why not? We train like Ryu, we train like Goku.
Absolutely. You got to be successful. No, it's my fault, actually. I insisted because I have a rugby game, but yeah, Jim just, had to go with the flow, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I run on a lack of sleep and ignorance most days anyway, so,
I was going to say, we used to carpool to work and we used to start at like 6. So give Chaotic Jim 10 minutes and then he'll really get going, so don't worry too much. Yeah, so are you guys playing anything good at the moment?
For me, a lot of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. That's kind of the new JRPG wonder game. It's getting rave reviews. Tons of people are really into it. A lot of the hype is justified too. It's pretty fantastic. This podcast too also got me playing the game that we're talking about today. I've been putting it off for reasons that I'm sure we'll get into. But now that I'm getting into the lab and figuring out the various mechanics and just how it feels in the hands, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I can't believe I waited so long to play this myself. And I've been pestering Jim to play it. So when we talk about where we first played it, it's going to be because Raging Demon fucking wouldn't shut up about it, and then every time there was a sale, he'd send me a link to it. And yeah. But yeah, no. Aside from that, I started playing. Jim will be excited about this. I started playing Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah!
Oh hell yeah!
I haven't got that far in. I've never played it before. What are you playing, Jim? You're playing Home Renovation Simulator, or?
Yeah, a little bit of that. But I've also decided to bite the bullet and play through Elden Ring.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Never really played the Soulsborne series. I like them, the lore, and they look good, and yeah, I'm just not into, the whole suffering thing, and
yeah, but these games only take about 20 hours to finish.
Yeah, there's that, but then there's also me yelling and screaming because, I kept getting bodied, so I decided I'll give it a crack. And apparently...
Were they not complaining about this being too easy?
Yeah, that's kind of why I picked it.
They were. Yeah. I'm going to have to look into... What game did you say it was, Rick? It's got a long... It's like fucking under 9, but it's got a crazy long title. But yeah.
Clair Obscur.
Clair Obscur, right.
Yeah, it's French, but don't hold that against them. It's really good.
Oh no, and I don't mind if it's made by Frenchies. It's fine.
Yeah,
didn't Ubisoft used to be French?
Well, funny story. 3 of their main dev people on the team that made Clair Obscur, because it's a brand new studio. 3 of the dev folks were former Ubisoft, so they left the company and then made something that they actually loved. It seems like
had enough.
It's amazing the quality difference.
Yeah, had enough of the Guillermos.
Oh, because I wasn't sure if Ubisoft was French Canadian or French, but it sounds like they're from proper France, right? So that's not surprising though when you see that sort of why is this good? Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
because they got creative license,
Yeah.
So Under Night and Birth made by French bread, but not French, so Japanese in fact. how did you, I was going to say, like, I know how Jim heard of this game, but I actually encountered this game, surprisingly, playing Cross-Tag Battle, Blaze Blue Cross-Tag Battle, and I was like, what the fuck's this game? And I should know better, really, being a aficionado of the fighting genre, but, like, and I checked it out, and I just couldn't stop fucking playing it, you know? I've never seen it, we were talking off air before, I never saw an arcade machine for it, and I can't even remember seeing it on the shelves for, like, PS3 or anything. So, yeah, so... Rick, where did you see this?
So I started hearing rumblings of Undernight around, I want to say the last Evo or maybe Evo 2023. I don't remember. It was one of them, and I started hearing about it. My history with fighting games is weird. I've been playing them since I was a kid, but I never really got like super into them until like sometime, I don't know, 2022 or something. But I kind of never touched anime fighters because I'm not as big of a fan of the high octane, super crazy fast 50 bajillion combo kind of deal. And plus the main anime fighter that I had seen is MVC2, and half of that game, if not more, is just hyper jumps and people flying to the ceiling and then coming down and flying back to the ceiling. And that sucks to me. I hate looking at it.
Yeah.
But Undernight isn't that. And this was the first anime fighter that I picked up because I saw it didn't have the hyper jumps. And then I got into the lab and I was like, oh, this actually fucking rocks. Like, this is really cool. And then I learned it had a story mode. So I was like, oh, okay, this is amazing. Like, I love visual novels. I'm just going to hold off until I have a minute to read through it. And then I'll play this game like for real. So I didn't touch it until you guys reached out and you were like, hey, let's, do you want to do Undernight? And I was like, yes, finally, I can play this and talk about it. And I sure did, for better or for worse. But the game itself, super cool. I really like it.
It sure is a game, all right. The story, but yeah, because we've talked about the story in the past, and even just on like in passing on previous episodes. And it's a good thing the gameplay is good. But before we get going, may I do my haiku? Jim's trying to not do haikus, but I'm going to make sure this is the thing.
No, it's not that I'm fighting against them. It's just that if they don't come up, I'm not going to remind you.
If one of us forgets. All right. I'll do my haiku real quick, put the Ghost of Tsushima haiku music in the background, and then, all right. Woke up. Got a sword. Void? Exist? What's going on? Guess I'll throw a fireball.
Deep.
Right, and I think that sums up the plot pretty well. So, but yeah, anime fighters, I was the same though. I sort of like, what the fuck? This is just like Street Fighter 2, but with too much going on, right? And yeah, MVC's always been the tequila shots of fighting games, but like, yeah, this one not so much, eh? Like, yeah, there's some long combos, but I feel like it's got a lot more neutral. It's a lot more. It's not like a Blaze Blue or a Guilty Gear or MVC2. Like it's its own thing, and even though it doesn't appear so at first,
And it's funny you mention Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear. My stepping stone into this was playing Grand Blue versus Rising, which I know Demon, I talked with you a little bit about. I don't think I mentioned it to you, Jim, but I tried that first because everybody said it's basically anime Street Fighter. And it is. Like, it's very approachable, extraordinarily beginner friendly. I love that game so much. But then I was like, okay, I'll try Uni. And, it's great. Demon, you suggested I try Blaze Blue, and I did. But Blaze Blue, for as much as I really like the art style, the story is just batshit crazy. But there's a lot of mechanics that you have to really like. I'm the kind of person, I don't like to just jump into a game I don't know and just play. I really like I'm the kind of guy, the first thing I want to do, I want to go into the lab, I want to do combo trials, I want to look at all the tutorials. Like, I want to know how the game works so I can actually learn it. And that made Blaze Blue really tough because it would have, taken a lot of time. This is kind of like the sweet spot. Uni is it's quicker than Street Fighter. It's quicker than Grand Blue. It's more fast. It's faster paced, but it does still have that like neutral element. There's not as many crazy systems. The systems that are there kind of promote you into acting. They don't reward turtling and playing defensively.
Oh no.
So they want you to like get out of neutral and try and get into advantage, but it's not as like balls to the wall tequila shots like you said with MVC2. Yeah, this game is super, super cool.
Yeah, well, they want you to attack. Like, they want you to put pressure on but they don't, they give you tools and they don't make it easy, which is what I like, right? Because on the face of it, you look and go, oh, this is not a game for zoning. And I like zoning, but you still can zone in this game. And the Shoto characters still are strong, which is, it's not just all rushdown, even though that you get great rewards for rushdown in this game. And it's fun it's funny you say that, because on the face of it, this game does look very complicated. But it's actually nowhere near as complicated in BlazBlue, in my opinion. It's far easier to learn all the moves and the systems, because there's some passive stuff going on too, like with the grid gauge. It's not, you don't have to understand it for it to benefit you, and it's also not super hard to understand. But yeah, I don't know what you think, Jim, because you're pretty casual with these anime fighters too. What did you think of the mechanics?
I like them. I'm not very mechanic orientated, but it seems like the mechanics they did, well, the passive mechanics they included seem to, they get a bit more highlighted, when you're looking at reviews, gameplay, systems, information and that kind of thing. It always seems like it's way more complicated than it feels.
Yeah.
And I like the footsies aspect of games where, that's pretty much where my bones are, because, I've got busted hands. So yeah, combos kind of difficult at times, but yeah, the footsies aspect and how that ties in with the grid system is just right up my alley. I like the way they've integrated everything.
Yeah, well, and even on the combos, the auto combo is super easy. And I don't feel it rewards like not understanding how to do moves and the systems. I feel like the auto combo, it just levels the playing field for people who find a big long combo difficult to do. And if you've got your full gauge, you'll even do your super at the end of it, So we'll keep talking mechanics, I think, but like I just wanted to talk about the this game is pretty old, right?
Yeah.
What surprised me is it was published by Sega in arcades, right? It's 2012, right? And then Arc Sys released it on consoles in 2014, and that's something they cop a lot of criticism for, is taken ages to make a console release for this game. And the creators Nobuya Narita and this guy, I literally on my notes wrote this guy, Toshimichi Mori, who
I've heard that name before.
It explains
somewhere.
the good sound, to be honest. Yeah, Toshimichi Mori. He might have something a little bit to do with a small game called BlazBlue.
Yeah.
I joke, it actually is still a pretty small game, BlazBlue.
Oh, wait, is it the same composer?
Well, I'm not sure what Toshimichi Mori did on this game, but I think he did the sound on... No, he's the creator of BlazBlue. Who's the guy that did Guilty Gear and did all the sound? I'm trying to think of that guy's name. That's why Guilty Gear is all like fucking musical instruments and shit like that. But yeah, Toshimichi Mori's the BlazBlue creator, and Saichi Yoshihara and Raito is the composer. He doesn't even have a last name. That's how famous he is, right? So he's the composer of this game, I think. Pretty sure. So yeah, and it was released on everything, and yet still none of us saw it. Amazon Luna too, for whatever the fuck, except Xbox, which is one of my bugbears with this game, right? Put it on Xbox.
Yeah.
And then it's all these dumb names it's had, all these revisions. It's really gone, hey, Street Fighter 2, you think you can shit the bed on naming? Watch us go. Under Night in Birth EX Late, Under Night in Birth EX Late ST. These have all got fucking square brackets and all sorts of shit in it as well, semicolons and dashes. Under Night in Birth EX Late Clear. That is the latest one and there's a sequel. I don't know if you guys have played the sequel, but it's much the same. It's just extra characters and some more story and stuff. But the mechanics are like your basic A, B, C, D anime fighter type of inputs. The D button is where this game really is clever, I think. The fact that you can use that button for pretty much everything, like for charging your grid, for blocking, for launching. That launch move is really, really key to attacking in this game. You can actually use it as an input to a special. It's, A and D throw. Like, the way they've utilized that one button for so many things is very clever. And the auto combos and we can get into the weeds on mechanics right now, I think. The specials are pretty easy. It's just like your quarter circles and things like that. Nothing crazy. There's only one charge character I can remember. Fatisa, she's pretty good. It's fun to learn her combos. But yeah, so I don't know what your thoughts to get back on mechanics. But it seems complicated, but it actually isn't.
I'm not generally a fan of the auto combo system. And it's funny too. You always hear about Mortal Kombat getting so much shit for having dial a combo, but a lot of these anime fighters are the same way. Like this game isn't quite dial a combo, but it's like 90% there. You don't need precise timings like Grand Blue or Street Fighter or Tekken. Like you just you press and things just generally work. I don't have a problem with it. I just want some consistency in the FGC, I guess. But I'm not usually a fan. Like I like to, work on timings like Smash or Street Fighter or whatever. But I liked it okay. I did like it okay. A lot of the characters, just going through some lab missions, combo trials for some of the characters that I liked the most. It seems like most folks are going to have the same kind of basic combos, at least basic combos. Like everybody has the same like down A, down B, C, down C, or some minor variation of that. Like everybody has that. And then once you get into the like advanced stuff, but I like that everybody is kind of similar. It makes it a little more approachable.
Yeah, you can jump from one character to another, and the basic tool set isn't too different, right? And I think with the dialer combo, I think the reason I don't mind it is because you can learn a manual combo, and it's always better, right? So like, it's if you put the effort in, you get still rewarded for learning, being old school, right? I mean, Jim, what do you think? You're not a fan of combo heavy games where it feels like a pool match where you just watch them sink the balls. But like, what do you think? What do you think of the combos in this game?
Well, look, they're not bad, honestly. Like at a surface level, they look just as chaotic as any other anime fighter. But by and large, they're not. That I think it's just the art style lends it to look very busy and combo heavy, and it's not really. Just it's I think it's an issue with this game where it appears a certain way, but when you jump in and play it actually feels very different.
I actually felt like it, aside from what Rick was saying about the dialer combo, because I like dialer combos, because I feel like the timing, but like I do agree, try to like, how about we get a little bit of a uniformity, but
oh man,
the gameplay feels like we were talking about this with command lists and the way when facing right. And some games make it, when you jump sides, it swaps the command list around, and some don't.
Oh, yeah.
And just fucking pick one, right? But I feel like the game flow feels a bit like 2D Tekken, if that makes sense, right? You can block quite well. Blocking, you don't have to hold the block button. You just have to be blocking when they initially hit you, which I find is a little bit of a quality of life improvement once you get used to it. But I find like that you basically, you block the combo, wait for your chance, then it's your go. It's like an ebb and flow, kind of like Tekken, except with the sort of like the combo timings aren't as tight as, say, like I find KOF to be kind of the most finicky with it.
It's Pokemon
of all the other 2D fighters I play. But yeah, KOF has some things that make it easy because you can basically do the input, hold the button, and let go of it. That's something that a lot of other games don't do. But yeah, but this game, I feel like the sort of back and forth kind of feels a bit like Tekken. You can't kill someone with a combo as easily as you think, because you do get quite a lot of health, and attacks don't do as much damage in this game until you sort of, when we get into some of the other mechanics, when you start to stack buffs and stuff like that. But yeah, I did the combo trials too, and you can also slow down. This is another thing in that you can slow them down. You can slow the speed of the game down when you're practicing. That's something I haven't seen in another game before either. Did you muck around with that, Rick?
I didn't. I feel like I see that pretty well. No, maybe pretty often is not the right way to categorize it. I feel like it's in more games than not, though. I never really engage with it, to be honest.
Yeah, there's no point making it super slow because obviously, but I found that was really good to sort of, especially when you're doing like transitions, like you're jumping or you're launching then jumping, to try and figure out give yourself a minute to sort of think about when you need to input. Is it straight away, or is it because when you launch and then you do a combo in the jump? Say take a game like Mortal Kombat, you just do it immediately, right? But sometimes it's when they're falling, sometimes it's when they're rising. You know what I mean? Like I found it a little bit useful for that. I mean, it's aside from that, I mean, it's play the game on full speed. But
Tekken training
you can't
mode.
slow the speed down. Can you do that in Tekken? Slow the speed down?
No, but your timing.
I don't know.
Is
jacked. The Tekken timing's fucking infamously like specific.
Yeah, and you know how you have in training mode, you've got the button inputs, so you can not only see the combo, but you can see when the...
Oh, yeah, that's standard. Yeah.
It's just add a slow-mo mode to that, and it's pretty close to what this is.
Showing the frame differences between the inputs helps you learn the combos too, that's all pretty standard. Was it Street Fighter V that probably made you pay $10 extra to get it? But yeah.
Wait, are you kidding?
I think the frame data, I think they did charge money for that in Street Fighter V.
Are you kidding?
I was actually just joking.
What?
I was actually just joking, but I'm pretty sure they did. Now that I think about it, they definitely released a half fucking finished game and asked everyone to pay DLC to get the rest of the character. But yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, there's definitely games that have charged for that advanced stuff that the fighting like serious competitors want, like to analyze the game. But
I'm telling you, I joke about Capcom charging people for the health bar, as a DLC, and they're not far off.
I think they've come around now with the Street Fighter 6, but Street Fighter 5 was definitely like that.
You just wait. They'll keep going.
But did you not feel like also on the launch button, did you not feel like that was why haven't more games done that? Because I'm like, this is cool. Like,
I like the launch button because it fits into the game's, or what it feels to me like the game's philosophy is it wants you to engage with your opponent. Street Fighter, you can play a defensive build on Street Fighter, and that is amazing. Like people make careers out of that. And obviously any 3D fighter, Virtua Fighter, like the name of the game is knowing how to defend. I mean, Dead or Alive, there's a whole hold system and parry system.
Yes.
But like this game wants you to be aggressive. I don't think it promotes like rushdown play, although all of my favorite, now that I'm thinking, my two favorite characters are Rushdown. So maybe I'm speaking from bias here, but I thought that was really neat. You can, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can block in air in this game, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So it's relatively non-committal. Like if you couldn't block in air, then that would be a pretty big commitment, to do that launch.
Actually, I found that really frustrating sometimes because you get used to once you've got your opponent in the air, they're helpless. No, this is very much in that MVC2 kind of vein there, but I feel like it wants you to be rushed down, but it doesn't make you. If that makes sense. Like you can still succeed without it.
I don't think it's quite pushing, or not pushing, but intended to be a rush down type thing. I think it's just a engagement type thing.
Yeah, that's a better word probably. Yeah.
So if
you can't be turtle and be passive.
Yeah, you can't just be sitting there waiting for a whiff and then combo your way to victory. Like you've got to be engaging. You've got to make the win happen, right? So rather than punishing a mistake, you're actively, moving towards winning the match. Whereas some other games, you kind of just, shell up and turtle up and then, got him. So, I think it really promotes like engagement.
Well, and that's the grid gauge is where I think this game is shines, right? Because there's that buff you get from getting, they're called the Vorpal cycle, right? And it's about 16, 17 seconds or whatever.
And what does Vorpal mean? I couldn't tell you.
Fuck define it, me neither. I know what it does, but why they chose that way, you know what it's like when Japanese guys make a game, they like get the English dictionary out and they just look for cool words, right? And then they go, oh, that.
It's like
even the start of the game.
Every anime fighter is like this, it's not a round, it's a first clause, or like, I mean, even Guilty Gear is like this, like combos are called beats or something.
I'd take it's out of BlazBlue for this.
But why can't they, the wheels of fate to turn, it's like why can't you just say round one fight? Well, because you can't, because other games do that already. So you have to say first clause, divide. What the fuck does the divide even refer to? Like, what, first clause, first we're talking like language and then we're talking maths, like it does no context to the fight except that it's about the fight because you're in one, right? So like,
I wonder if they open up a legal dictionary and just start finding all the random sort of out-of-pocket words that were used like 100 years ago in a legal context.
Well, even the veil off thing, why that? Like, that's another mechanic. But like this grid, this Vorpal cycle, it's like a meter where you're fighting your opponent for advantage, right? And that's from pressure, from engagement, as Jim was saying. I think that's a better word. Negative gameplay. Actually, and this is where if you're a zoner, you can get fucked. If they block, if they use their I'm trying to barrier block. If they use their barrier block, or what's the other mechanic? It's not like a parry, but you can build meter off their projectiles, or build grid gauge off their projectiles. You can also just straight up hold it down and charge it like your fucking Dragon Ball Z. So that's And if you win that battle, you get a 10% buff, and you can frame cancel and stuff like that, which might not mean much to the casual player, but that matters, right?
Oh yeah,
and you'll build more meter as well, which you can use, right? And it stacks. So there's another mode called Veil Off, where if you use your, I think you need to have full 2 gauges, I think, but that will stack on top another 20%. So you can do an extra 30% damage just on using those meters, right? So this sounds complicated, but believe me, it all happens naturally once you start playing the game. The grid gauge, you don't have to worry about that. Just win that battle, and then if you lose it, it's only temporary till the next cycle, right? So
yeah,
the cool thing about
I think that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go on, Rick.
The cool thing about the grid system that I like a lot is that it's a tug of war. It's not just another EX meter. You do have an EX meter, and it works like any 2D fighter, Street Fighter, whatever. You fill your get 2 full bars, and then you can do your super. Cool. Well, kind of. But this one, it's the tug of war. So if you want to charge up against your opponent, that kind of takes, well, it doesn't take theirs away, but, the whole field, the whole grid meter shares a total of 12 grids, I think. And, once you get to 7, that's all 6 of yours plus 1 of your opponents. That's what will automatically, I think, put you into Vorpal. Otherwise, it's just whoever has more at the end of the 17-second timer or something. It's all down at the bottom of the screen. But if you charge up and you charge up against your opponents, you start taking theirs away, and that's super cool. That's why it's it's promoting you to not quite be rushed down, but be kind of rushed down, like Jim said. It's because you build that meter whenever you move forward. You build that meter when you attack. If you try to use your super strong, I forget the button presses, but your super strong command move, and you have no meter, it's going to charge your opponent's meter. So it wants you to play smart, but it wants you to play offensively. It doesn't want you to turtle.
No, if you're a Guile main, you got to rethink your whole strategy in this game. You can't just sit in the corner and exploit mistakes and frustrate your opponent, because to be honest, you can sit there shooting fireballs like Akatsuki is who I use, right? And most of the time, and he's got good fireball options. He's got air fireballs, but it doesn't stop. I don't feel it's unfair in stopping characters getting in, right? Whereas I feel like in Street Fighter, say you use Akuma, who's got both those tools, you can keep people out, and then you've got a demon flip, so you can mix it up. You can really hold your arm out and stop them coming in. You can't do that in this game, and I feel like that's pretty cool, right?
I feel like
they've got the balance right.
Yeah, it's when it comes to that kind of thing, it's almost like trench warfare, right? You know, you set up good defenses, and then it's up to the other player to get in. That's part of the game, right? And going back, well, this is sort of aging us a little bit, but like back in the day, like the original Street Fighter 2 cabinets, you know when you get the cigar, you're going to be putting a couple of doubloons into the machine just to get past the gut, right? And yeah, not much of a chance of that happening in this game. Like there's so many options to get in, and like turtling up is not really a thing here. It doesn't make sense just because of the grid system.
Well, and veil off.
Yeah.
When you've got veil off, you can just do unlimited supers.
Yeah.
Till it's over, and you can extend it. You can extend it as well. But like it's just one of those things where if you just sit there and defend, eventually they'll have enough resources to just chip you to death. So like, or throw you or whatever. Right? Throws are pretty high value in this. Like that, you've got to be pretty close to do one, but they do a lot of damage.
Well, unless what's his name from Voltron?
Voltron, who are you talking about? Oh, we haven't even talked about the different characters. Some of them are fucking batshit crack. Are you talking about Volstein?
Yeah, tell me he doesn't look like he yanked the arms off of one of the lions, right?
That's the dude that takes up like half the screen, right?
Oh
yeah, and he's slow as fuck too. He's got a little hop, but yeah.
I like when he walks, how the screen shakes. It's like, oh, seriously? No wonder you're so slow. I bet you weigh an absolute metric shit ton. And then, robot arms.
But there's characters like him and Gordeau who have insane reach, right? Oh, and Makava too. But he can grab you. Like Volstein can grab you and just like SPD. Like he's like a super Zangief. Smash you into the planet over and over and over again. He's actually pretty fun to play with. I don't know if you mucked around with him, Rick, but yeah.
He's not fighting you. He's fighting the planet, and he's using you to hit the planet.
I did not. I'm not usually a big grappler guy. Like every now and then I think it's fun. I'm not so much in this game. I'll tell you honestly, I'll tell you my secret to picking the fighting game characters I like, and I do this in every single game. I pick the attractive girls. That's pretty much it. Like, I look at and this
such
game
complex formula.
I mean, this game, look at I go for all the cute anime girls. Boom. The two that I played with the most and had the most fun with were Lin and Mika. Lin with like dual swords, and Mika, kind of my favorite archetype, like the brawler, like the pugilist kind of deal.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. There's another character in Uni 2.
Punch you in the face type.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, she's a brawler. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, she's a brawler big time.
There's one character in Uni 2, Uzuki, that's like a floating witch kind of character.
Yeah,
but I messed around with Atsukutsuki too, because he's the Ryu of the game. He's the Shoto, just way faster than you'd expect a Ryu to be. It's fun. I like the cast a lot. The only I don't do charge characters, so I don't think I figured out who was a charge character and who wasn't.
There's one, Batista. That's it.
Only one. Huh.
That's the only one I can think of, and I've probably dabbled with about 10 different characters. But yeah. Even though she's got some interesting. She's not a traditional charge character in that she has charge up and then down moves as well, which I've not seen before.
And
so when you jump in the air, if you keep, there's a lot of moves and the reason that matters, that forward and back, is because there's a lot of command normals where you hold forward and press a button, and then after that, if you whiff or if you get a hit confirm, you can do the charge move straight away. And even with the jump, you're already holding up when you jump, so you can do things like dive kicks and stuff. She's got like a dive kick type move That's a charge move. So even though she is a charged character, they've understood that to stop her having to just turtle, they've got to give her attacks with good range, and they've got to give her, when she does engage by going forward, they've got to give her a tool set, which they have, which I think is kind of clever.
She's got to be mobile. Like you look at typical charge characters, and they tend to be stuck in the corner. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a lot of mobility there. So, you know, having the different way of creating a charge character, they hit the nail on the head, I think.
Yeah, and they haven't added too many. Like I said, I think there's just one, which is, I think, probably for the best to have fewer than more, because people, I think, and me included, it's taken a long time to come around on charge characters, because I'm like, I just want to do the thing and have the move come out. I don't want anything. Don't make it even more complicated than it already is, right? So, but yeah, there's quite a good mix of Shotos. I mean, when it comes to, say, like a command grab character, I guess you would call, or Volstein definitely is a command grab character, but like I would say Gordeau kind of is. There's some good hybrid type classes there. The rush, like the brawler type, you know, it was the Mika's the one who bashes you to death with her fists. She's quite fun to play. She's got these giant fucking robot gauntlet thingies. But there's two characters, particularly Akatsuki and Eltnam, who come from other games, right? Akatsuki one was like, what the fuck? What, that Akatsuki Blitzcamp comic or book or whatever it is. I've never heard of that in my life before, but yeah, he's from a different game. And I love how self-referential they are to the guest characters, like especially in the second game. But Eltnam is from Melty Blood.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Melty Blood.
I haven't really played Melty Blood.
Oh, it's really good. It feels pretty similar to this. It's really good. And what made me laugh a lot reading this visual novel story mode, Melty Blood is based off of Tsukihime, which is like widely regarded as one of the best Japanese visual novels in the medium. So all the time I'm reading this with its bad writing, I'm just thinking like, man, I could be reading something good right now. And then playing another anime fighter.
Bad writing is giving this too much credit.
It's really, really clumsy. It's not great.
No, and it's a. What were you saying when we were talking about it? We were on the phone yesterday talking about me and Jim, and he was saying that they keep. Remember that thing every 10 seconds they keep
exposition
referring back to something.
Oh,
it's just
it hurts.
Yeah,
it physically hurts because every time it comes up, you roll your eyes back. But they're rolling so hard that you're causing damage in the back of your eyeballs. The amount of anime trope in this is so bad.
Even Hyde himself is the most tropey trope you could have from like an anime, right?
Yeah,
and he was the butt of my joke in the haiku. Obviously, like he's just like, here, high school kid. Have a magical MacGuffin and be a hero.
You know what it is? It's who's the main character from Yu-Gi-Oh?
That Yugi.
Is it?
It's Yugi, but without Yugi. Yeah, that's his name.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is Yugi after he's finished his degree at college or university, right? So he's just got the job. You know, he's still got some kind of. Imagine he's like a year into his working career and he's kind of jaded but still relatively positive. That's Hyde. You know, he doesn't have the drinking problem yet. He hasn't, been divorced or anything. He's early 20s, Yugi. And then
hits on everyone.
Throw on some anime high school trope and there you go. There it is. And he can do it with the entire freaking cast.
And instead of that blue eyes white dragon thing from Yu-Gi-Oh, he's got the fucking insulator, which is just a magical sword, I guess, that kills in-births, whatever the fucking in-birth is, right? So, like, the story is kind of
shit,
shallow. It's definitely Toshimichi Mori overtones, but not. You can tell he hasn't had full creative control because he would have made it way more complicated. but yeah, like you did with BlazBlue.
I don't know
But,
if
I don't.
I don't know if this will make sense, like if this will translate from like the States to Australian youth, but like this story and this universe would have hit so hard like on Tumblr in middle school in like 2008. Like if I would have discovered it back then, this would have been my whole personality. But now it's now that we've seen stuff come after, and like we know what we know better. It's just this just isn't it. And I'm wondering if it's the writing or if it's just the localization into English, because some of it is like super sloppy. You could see some Japanese like phrases and like sentence structure slip in. And it's I don't know. I haven't gone through too many of the visual novel character routes yet. Been through like 3 or 4, but it's I'm kind of breezing over a lot of it. I'm skipping a lot of it.
I found the same. Just press the A button. Like
I like to go through the lore on these kinds of things. Like the amount of hours of BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, name the game. I've gone through it like hours and hours and hours and hours. This does not get any better. Like it's just trope after trope after trope. There's like it's about as it's about as shallow as you can kind of get.
That sucks, man. I mean, I'm with you. I'm primarily an offline player, so like I'm like you, Jim. Like I like to go through the lore and the story modes. Like I like to learn about the universe. That's one reason I was so bummed about Grand Blue, because like, oh, Grand Blue has its own game. Amazing. Oh, it's a gacha game that takes like thousands of hours of you doing gacha game stuff. Oh, fuck, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like visual novels a lot. So I was like, oh man, a visual novel, but it's just it's like you said, it's really, really shallow. It's not great.
And it could be good because when oh, sorry, Jim, go on.
It's like sometimes it's like an iceberg, where you just, the game is kind of like just the tip, and then, you dive into the lore and it just, there's a whole universe there. It feels like something that you could see these characters actually existing in, right? This, not so much. I think if you've got to choose between story and gameplay, or the game, pick the game. That's a good choice. The game's got to work. It's got to run well. It's got to have good mechanics. It's got to function. But yeah, it's like the story, and you can't just copy some trope, put your own spin on it and call it done. Like, it brings it down.
Yeah, I mean, the gameplay itself as a fighting game, it's top notch.
It's awesome.
But like I feel like what I find it could be good story wise too, but they've sort of missed it. I think where you look at BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, where you have these characters from Under Night in that game, they've given them something that they don't have in their own game, which aside from the English voice acting, they've given them what I feel like a lot more personality, a lot more. Like hearing them interact with the BlazBlue characters and stuff like that, or the Ruby characters.
Oh, so good.
Oh, this game must have a really good lore and stuff. And then you go back and you sort of like get into it, and the lore, it's just like you said. If I was in BlazBlue Cross Tag and I was an Under Night character, and they're like, oh, we need to get back to our world, I'd be like, fuck that. Like our world's like shit. It's boring. there's monsters in it. Like
yeah, fuck that shit.
This world's better. Yeah, I'll go to your world. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels kind of unfinished, if that's the right word. They really have put all their time into the gameplay, which, thankfully, it's really good. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make that choice, choose the game. But it kind of feels like the Persona universe, but cut about 95% of the story. That 5%, that's kind of what you've got here.
Yeah, so did anyone want to give a summary of the plot?
I don't know that I can, man.
Yeah. we're introduced to Yugi 10 years in the future. Some anime fetch quests happen. They fight Hilda. They beat Hilda, and that's it.
Yeah, they have that phenomenon, the Hollow Knight, right? Which is this thing that occurs where these monsters that are like, what's the name for the monsters? They're not
voids.
Voids. Sorry, yeah, voids. And if you survive an attack by a void, also regular humans can't see voids. Go figure.
Yeah.
You survive attack by a void, you become an in-birth, which means you get like powers, which obviously everyone in this except the guest characters have those powers. And Hyde gets an extra buff because he's got a sword that can kill them, right? But if some of these people who survive this attack, they become there's another rebirths, which are like extra powerful, like, and that's like your Hilda and Kuon.
No, that's your Super Saiyan version.
Yeah. Exactly. And you have these two organizations who are shadowy organizations who are sort of battling to,
amnesia
monopolize the power, I guess, and the Licht Christ, right?
Yeah.
Which is an all-lady, like,
one's all lady.
Shield,
all women, and then another one's all male, I think, or is that Uni 2?
No, there's a male version of Amnesia's the bad guys. They're whatever. That's like
that's the one that Hilda's.
Yeah. I'm not even certain they're actually that bad either. I mean, Hilda's just after power. Gordo I think he's friends with some of the people in there, so he just sort of goes along with it.
Oh, he's edgy as fuck.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the what did you call it? Not the Holy Knight. There's the Knight.
The Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. I remember this because I just read through part of this character's route today. There's a character named Yuzuriha who is just kind of like a swordswoman. Pretty fun to play as too. Has some like delayed combos ish, but I was reading through her route today, and she literally explains this phenomenon. Knights are when a surge of EXS energy, which is just this game's like spiritual energy, whatever, is like concentrated. And then she says a Hollow Knight is like when it's super concentrated. And then she goes on to say, but some people are pretty loose with that definition. Some people just call it a Hollow Knight. It's all pretty vague. And I was like, you can't just excuse it in the writing by saying, yeah, nobody knows. If you're going to put this in here, you've got to explain it.
Right. I'm going to school's in. Fuck. I'm going to explain this, and then they're just like, but I could be completely wrong. And some people just say this, and like,
I'm gonna lay it out for you. Oh, actually, I don't want to. Go fuck yourself. I was just thinking, right? You know what it reminds me of? Bloodborne.
You're going to get a lot of people mad by saying that.
No, Bloodborne's good, right? Well, this is good too, but the story shit. But Bloodborne, they hunt during the night. Regular people can't see certain things. Well, the hunters, they go out, they get insight, and then they can see it. Right, that kind of reminds me of this kind of setup. Happens at night. Regular people can't see what the fuck's going on. They get bitten by a void or whatever. They turn into a void, or they get, the radioactive spider treatment, and they become stillbirths or whatever.
Stillbirths. God.
There's a lot of tropes or outright ideas they've got from this. And another thing I was thinking of is Gordo. He's the Magus from Chrono Trigger.
Don't spoil anything for me.
I
know Chrono Trigger's fucking a bajillion years old. But
edgy as fuck. Uses a scythe. Just,
Well, that's actually one of the things I found cool about Blaze Blue Cross Tag was Ruby is a bit of a weapons, so she's into weapons, right? So she sees the scythe and she's like, that's a cool,
that's a cool weapon.
She's got a scythe. Yeah.
I like that because a lot of them have got guns and you just don't see enough of that.
Yeah, well, is it Elton's got guns? She's, I guess, what would you call it? She's kind of like Noelle from Blaze Blue, I suppose.
Yeah, not far off.
I tell you what, as far as characters go and variety of play styles and weapons, there's not much they haven't touched on, is there? Like they've got swords, they got whips, they got fucking guns, they've got projectiles, they got...
Is that one guy that has like a magical like lizard that kind of helps him?
Yes. Yeah, he just walks around reading a book. Yeah.
He's, shit, what's his name? What's
Seth, is it?
Lizard,
not Seth.
Lizard dog's name.
It is Seth.
Chaos.
Right? Oh, is it Chaos?
Chaos, sorry, it's not Seth. It's Chaos, not Seth, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got this giant friggin'...
He's got a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is even a puppet character, right? Which is another anime fighter trope. But yeah, you've got, I guess, Makava's like your Dowsum. But yeah, he can fly as well. So he's a void, but for whatever reason, different to the other voids.
Yeah, he's the Flappy Bird guy, right?
Flappy Bird.
Come on, you can't say that's not what he looks like a mix between the angels from what is it?
Evangelion?
Yeah. Just give him like weird looking wings. Or it's, what's that Pokemon's name? Lugia, is it? But he's got like a drug problem.
It went wrong. Yeah, he's
got a gambling habit.
Yeah. Well, we got Hyde, Lynn, Firestone, Carmine. Carmine's your Iori type character. Well, I guess he's a little bit crazier than Iori, isn't he? He just blood. He manipulates his own blood. Ori, Gordo, Makava, Batista, Seth, Yusaria. She's like you said, Rick. She's pretty dope. Hilda, Eltnum, Akatsuki, Phonon, Mika, Enkidu. Enkidu's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Wagner. She's like, I guess. I'm surprised she wasn't in the original. Like she's just screams like main female protagonist.
Wagner?
And then
she's in the first Under Night.
Yeah.
No, I mean like the original build of the game, not like the one you get on consoles.
Oh, gotcha.
She was actually added. Yeah. She's in the first game, yes, but she's in the third patch. Londrika. Yeah, so I mean, even in number 2, we could do an episode on number 2, but I mean, to me, it's just an upgrade. Number 2, it doesn't feel like a fully fledged there's 5
Super
extra
turbo.
characters or whatever, and yeah, exactly. So it feels like very much like that kind of level of upgrade, and it's really good. But it's just, I wouldn't call it a comprehensive, brand new.
Yeah,
the gameplay is so similar that it would never upset people the way, say, Tekken 8's upsetting people at the moment, right? From the difference from Tekken 7 and Tekken 8.
Yeah.
So, the cast, you'll find someone you like. You can use a complicated method to pick your main, by the meta and who's powerful and what tools they got. Or you could just do what Rick does and just go, cute girl.
It works
right?
A lot of the time.
I just go, Shoto. That's what I do. The Shoto that looks cool,
Yeah,
that's my methodology.
It's the pretty female the pretty women characters and also Shotos. Like Shotos in every game are just that's what you do. If you want to learn how to play a game, play the Shoto.
Exactly.
I like your approach to choosing a character because it seems pretty consistent, right? You look at who's the pretty girl in there, right? So they kind of, the play style doesn't match, what I'm after. So then I'll default to Shoto. Hey, that's a winner.
Actually, you got some good options in this if you're using the Rick method, right? So it's not short of that, but then again, neither is Blaze Blue.
Yeah,
in Blaze Blue, I just used all the robots or the Morikumo units or whatever they're called. There's just too much. You need a glossary to play this game too, by the way.
Oh, it's nowhere near as bad as Blaze Blue though. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, not even close. There is a cauldron type thing as well. There's the source of the EXS or exist or whatever the power, whatever the force is called in this game. So,
I remember I was watching a breakdown of the power, the voids and all that sort of thing, and the guy pronounced it as X's. So I was like, what the hell? You got a bunch of crazy ex-girlfriends roaming the streets, once a month, losing their shit.
That'd make a great plot to a fighting game.
So what? They it's all that time of the month, and they're walking around with like baseball bats, beating the shit out of people.
By female listeners,
you know. So it's a little bit. I mean, I'm all for having a joke, but that might just be a little bit too far.
Well, it's when we were talking about Blaze Blue, how they got a fucking whole ending based on boobs.
Oh.
Like, all the female characters just talk about boobs the whole time. I was like,
it's like 20 minutes.
I both facepalm and love this at the same time. I just, how it got past everyone, and the creator goes, no, I insist this is going to be in the game. It's going to be a gag ending. But
yeah, he did.
I think this game could have done with a little bit more of that kind of humor, not boob humor, but like just humor in general. To be honest,
I like his approach in that, because he said, "Look, this is what I like. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm all for that. You know, whether it's this, that, or the other thing. Hey, go for it." And they definitely could have used a lot more of that approach in this.
Yeah. Well, letting creators do what they want can have. Well, I agree with it, one, because you get better products, but also when they do really fuck it up, it gives you something to laugh at as well, right?
Well, not only that, they generally don't work again, right? So the cream of the crop rises.
That's true. Then you generally don't get a laughter, but
you get like, if you let them do what they want, you're gonna get a Stephen King. You're gonna get what's his name? The guy who made Lock, Stock, and Snatch, and
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. I know what's his name. Guy Ritchie.
That's it.
Guy Ritchie.
And then
you're gonna get a Tim Burton too. He's sick as well.
Yeah, and then you're also so the best is going to be out there, but then you're also going to have the other end of the scale, like the who's the guy who they take the piss out of his name all the time?
R.M. Night Shyamalama Long.
That's it, Shyamalama Ding Dong.
He has got some good films though, but like you're right though. I liked Unbreakable and but the movie podcast.
Yeah, well, at least we didn't talk about politics this time. Or the energy grid, or military procurement, or all the other shit we talk about. But yeah, I think for games, you really need to let the creator run with it. Because hey, you got to stand by your product, and Demon, like you've said this a bunch of times. Hey, you might have just made a shit game. You make a shit game. If you make a great game, you've made a great game, and people are going to vote with their wallet. So creators need that freedom.
Accepting some failure. Yeah, accepting a little bit of failure, because they're not all going to be winners, are they? I mean, this is a winner though. Like, I do think it's underrated, and it was amazed me that it didn't get into Evo until it recently.
Yeah.
Undernight 2 being an Evo it actually held people back from playing it, surprisingly. I'm a bit more like, I play single player a lot of the time too. I do go online and fight, but like I sink hours into single player way before I even do that. I like to be prepared, just like Rick was saying. I like to learn how the game fucking works. I don't like to go in there and go, why am I dead?
The tough thing about this one,
I like to know why I'm dead.
The tough thing about this one too is it's like, and this is a term that I just learned. It's what's called a Discord fighter, because like you try to go online, even on PC, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to find a match. And if you do, it's going to be against somebody that's been playing for a long time, and they're way better than you probably.
Yep.
So they have dedicated Discord servers for these kinds of things. And even if you join one, who's joining a Discord for a specific fighting game? It's the enthusiasts, right? The people that are really, really good at the game. So like beginners, how do you even start? That's why, I'm not trying to play against people online in Undernight. I would get demolished and I wouldn't know why.
Sounds like it's the Australian server. We're in the Asian region, so we got shit internet. and we're playing a lot of Koreans, Japanese, and we just get bodied.
That's So like, I mean, my internet's not too bad, especially if I'm playing in like Southeast Asian server, right? Because that's our closest server. East Coast isn't. Funnily enough, we get better speeds and better, ping with Singapore, Malaysia, that sort of area.
Well, we're closer.
And even Japan is, we're closer, right? So, but you're right. I found with this, when I played online, oh boy, the Discord fighter thing is like, so you can organize room matches, of course, and so you can get someone casual at your skill level-ish. So you only lose, you lose in, I don't know, 60 seconds instead of 20, right? So like it's just, I find with this game it being, especially that there's mostly Japanese players and not, say, North American or European players until recently, because once it gets into Evo, then it breaks that Discord fight, a kind of silo that it gets stuck in, which you mentioned, Rick, because that's a thing. You go on some of these games and it's crickets, mate. You don't see anyone. And then when you do see someone, it's the only guy who's been playing in there for forever, and you just, it puts people off. With a big game like Street Fighter, you're never going to, the net code and the way it works is it's trying to keep you at 50-50 the whole time, and it will succeed in a game like Street Fighter because there's enough variation in skill, and it's such a famous IP, everyone will sort of knows what it is, and most fighting game community, they'll play it at some point, even if it's not their main thing. But this game was super niche until more recently, and it's.
I wonder if it's the Xbox.
That could help. I mean, Xbox isn't what it used to be for fighting games, but
yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're coming around. Every new release of a fighting game, except this one, has been on Xbox. So, which is one of my I like to play on Xbox for a few reasons, but mostly because my arcade stick is an Xbox arcade. Mostly because I find the Xbox is better online. It works better online.
Yeah.
The PlayStation's network adapter's fucking dog shit. I know people love their PlayStations, but I get far better speeds and ping with the Xbox than the
not
PlayStation.
Even close.
So, but anyway, if you're into a single player game, this is also a bit of a downfall. Is shortcoming of this game. It is fun, and the combat's amazing, and the arcade mode's fun. It's got a little bit of story in it too, but the visual novel side of it, it's far from being like Guilty Gear Strive or one of those other games that's got a really good mode like that.
The arcade mode in here, it's like, you get visual novel scenes within it, and then one ending slide. I would almost prefer it be closer to something like Grand Blue, where you get the unique character interactions for each match, and then at the end you get a nice piece of artwork. Or, the ideal is something like Mortal Kombat, right? Where every character has an ending. Or I don't know. Tekken used to be like that. The last Tekken I played was Tekken 4, so it's been a while. But this one, I'm not really motivated to play single player because it's just more of the visual novel.
Yeah, you don't get to see a unique ending. Like we would do this, me and Jim, with Tekken all the time. Play through to get the ending for everyone.
Yeah. I think it's a bit frustrating about this game because. You like Ryu itself, it's got so much potential, but it hasn't really lived up to it. But unlike Ryu, this is still a young franchise, so, it's got a chance.
Oh, yeah, especially, we've talked about their stupid timing of bringing out Under Night 2 when Tekken 8 came out.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, my gosh, is Under Night 2 that recent?
It was going Under Night 2 came out and it launched the same week.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It's so fucking.
It doesn't feel like
such a stupid idea. It's so fucking dumb. Yeah.
Or it's just they don't have the same audience and they knew it. But I mean,
but you're not competing for audience. You're competing for their money.
For attention to a point as well. If there's not a lot happening and you've got a low profile fighting game, this is what I think Guilty Gear Strive did. It launched when not much else was going on. So yeah,
good idea.
But it is a good idea because even Tekken avoided Street Fighter, even though they fundamentally got a different audience.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I would say those two games are right up there at the top of fighting game, of like Evo for particularly in the fighting game community. There's very much Tekken and Street Fighter people, right? That, Mortal Kombat is sort of losing its sort of grip on that third spot. But what Mortal Kombat continues to do well is, like Rick was saying, there's still an individual ending for every character. And they do have I love the pre-round like conversation and banter. And this game could do with more of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a small criticism on an otherwise very good game.
Man, I completely forgot that Uni 2 came out so close to Tekken. It made me think, though, like, there's been a pretty consistent release of damn good fighting games, between Uni 2 and Tekken 8. Virtua Fighter is back, finally. City of the Wolves is back. Like, fighting game players are in a pretty good spot right now.
What would your predictions be for the next sort of major fighting game announcement? What are you looking at, like a new Dead or Alive, or
Oh, dude, I would love a new Dead or Alive.
Me too. I love Dead or Alive 5. I love Dead or Alive 2 and 3. Yeah, 4's okay.
I think we're all crossing our fingers for the VF6 news, like what with Evo, right?
Yeah. I think that'll be the biggest upcoming one, because the way Virtua Fighter looked in the trailers and things like that,
so good.
It's like we talked about it. The way they've just even blocking, they're like, blocking doesn't have to be boring. Blocking can be like awesome.
I think we spent
and then you watch the blocks
talking about it.
Just talking about blocking, the blocking in VF6, which is an innovation that I've sort of like, why hasn't someone done this already? Like, but I think I would love to see Dead or Alive, to be honest. I miss Dead or I would like to see Dead or Alive with rollback netcode and all the modern stuff as well. Like, Dead or Alive is a very approachable game, and it's still very deep. And we talked about Ninja Gaiden and like I love that whole universe. Like, I think it's cool, and I'd like to see a non gotcha type Dead or Alive come out.
Yeah.
That's why I sort of think 5's sort of the best one for a while, but yeah.
Oh, no question. After how they treated 6, like I always said Dead or Alive was my favorite until I discovered Grand Blue, and then I got really into that for a little bit. But I would love to see that, a new Dead or Alive. I don't know. Are they going to actually make one?
I don't think so at the moment. I think eventually, yes. But given that it's a terrible time for someone to break, like it really is a second sort of golden age of fighting games, in my opinion, because there was a huge drought, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you'd talk to me and say, I don't know, 2010, about what fighting games would be like in 2025, but I would have been like, yeah, we'll just be playing the old ones.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get really lucky and we'll get a new Darkstalkers.
Yeah. How good would a Darkstalkers be? Like a new Darkstalkers. No. We're probably a better chance at seeing Darkstalkers characters in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Actually, CVS 3 would be another prediction I would make as well.
Soul Calibur.
Given how lovey-dovey fucking Capcom and SNK are at the moment, and how they're getting along all nice, playing nice at the moment. So we've got Ken coming into City of the Wolves, Ken and Chun-Li, so they're clearly on good terms. So that's a prediction I would make.
This is Capcom we're talking about.
Yeah, Capcom are like doing really well at the moment though. So
yeah, but they're not known for their good decisions when they're on top.
Oh, well, maybe they will make a Darkstalkers, and then they'll make another type of Street Fighter, and then another type, and they'll make it all at the same time, like they did in the early 2000s or whatever, right? So maybe they'll do that. But I think
a new Fight
Dead
Night
or Alive is one I want to see. If Fight Night, Virtua Fighter 6 is probably going to be a big deal, because especially since Tekken, Tekken 8 is kind of in a shit spot at the moment. They've kind of fucked the whole.
Oh yeah, everybody's pissed at them, right?
Yeah, big time. It's just not. It's broken now,
man.
Because Tekken's taken a long time to get where it is. It's not easy to just make a tweak and fix that.
That's a bummer. Like, you spend any time on Reddit, and everybody will be shit-talking the Tekken community about how terrible it is, about how awful the people are. And I have Tekken 8 downloaded, but then like a week after I downloaded it, everybody started talking about how the game is terrible now. Nobody likes it. It's shit. Everybody's leaving for like different games. And I'm kind of bummed. Like I said, I haven't played since Tekken 4 and I kind of miss it.
Oh, you'll enjoy the single player of it. It's still good. It's just I liked it, but Tekken 7 is still the best one, in my opinion.
Oh, so good.
But Tekken, what I liked about it was it didn't have shit tons of, like, mechanics.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't have mechanics in the way, like, super meters and shit like that. The Rager, me and Jim really did not like at first in Tekken 7, but at least it's like Mortal Kombat's Fatal Blow, right? You can do it when you're low on health. And
yeah.
We got our heads around it, accepted it. But now with the heat gauge and, you know, moves being, when you're in heat mode, moves being performed differently and more easily, and some characters can stay in heat for fucking like the whole fight. And there's a lot of broken shit when really I felt like the best thing about Tekken was it was literally just fighting. There was very few projectiles. There was very, you know, it was all normal heavy. The command lists were massive. It took a long time to learn a character. I appreciated that about the game. It didn't need, it's complex enough. It doesn't need to be like Street Fighter 6 and I think that's the biggest mistake it's made.
Yeah.
And it's kind of busted all the balance as well, which is why people are really angry at it.
You know how you've got a decent recipe and, you know, it's awesome. People enjoy it. And then you add one ingredient and it fucks the whole thing. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
They're just that one too many things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one too many, which sucks.
I'd still recommend playing Tekken 8, but a single player if you're into the story and the lore and stuff. But I haven't played Tekken 8 for a long time now. Probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Since I played it last. And also, I'm not really there's been new DLC characters that I've gone, hey, fuck yeah, I have to play it. So I've been more interested in getting to know some of these franchises, like the anime fighters that I haven't really had the history with that I've had with Tekken or say, even Dead or Alive. I played all the Dead or Alive games. I played all the Virtual Fighter games.
Yeah,
but I haven't played until...
Kind of gone on a anime 2D fighter binge for a while, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, even like you were saying, Rick, I was listening to some of your episodes about, I think it was games, particularly the one about your favorite games for the year, I think it was.
Okay.
I was like, fuck yeah, Dead or Alive is good. I should play more of, you know.
Oh, yeah, I think I talked about Dead or Alive 5, right?
Yeah, and it was Dead or Alive 5R or whatever. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Dead or Alive is good. I should play it more. You know,
it is really good. It gets a bad rap because of like the tits and everything. Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, like I don't have a problem with the boobs, but like it's a good fighting game too. Like at its core, like they shit the bed with the gacha system or the microtransaction in 6. Funny story. I finally own Dead or Alive 5 on PC because like you could technically buy it, but you had to buy everything individually, and it rounded up to be like $60. But it finally went on sale for like 15. So I was like, fuck it, you know, I'll buy Dead or Alive 5. But it's a darn fun game. It's really fun.
You're 100% right on that. Like I remember when I think we first got our PS2. One of the first games we got was Dead or Alive 2. It's a good game. Like it's a good franchise, and it's surprisingly can be quite complicated. With a lot of
it is amazingly complicated.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they can't look past the boob physics, and it's like, yes, they are there, but like that's, you know, there is a good fighter under it.
So, yeah, you don't have to.
And they tried to take that away in 6, didn't they? And it backfired again. So they're like, oh, everyone says we're too focused on the thirst. And then they go, all right, well, we're going to wind that back in 6. That's not the only problem with 6, by the way. But like,
no.
And then people are like, what the fuck? Put it back.
Speaking of games like Under Night that have like really long combo systems, something that Dead or Alive 5 had that they took away in 6 that I think is an amazing feature is you have to toggle this on, but if you do like forward heavy punch, for example, or I guess in Dead or Alive Uni, it would just be forward plus whatever attack button. It automatically will give you a string of combos on the bottom left side of the screen, like combo suggestions to help you learn the flowcharts of a character. And as for somebody like me that is like I'm definitely a casual that knows a lot, but I'm like still a casual. For somebody like me that dips in and out of games, like that is a godsend. Why they took it out for 6, I will never know. I wish more fighting games would do that. Like games like Uni that you can do like 50-point combos.
Yeah.
Give me something like that. Give me a combo suggestion route. Like that would be incredible.
Reminds me of
What
Clippy.
suggests a punish? Yeah. Clippy.
Yeah.
but a useful Clippy. Oh God, I don't know if you remember Clippy.
Oh yeah, I remember Clippy.
but like Dead or Alive Dimensions does that too, right? It suggests a move like to do, and I reckon that's cool, especially in the single player mode and stuff. Online, don't have it online, because you don't want people to have a command list while they're online.
Well, most people online aren't going to need it anyway.
Oh, yeah, true. Like, and that's part of the problem with playing online. You're playing with the people who don't need fuck all. They're already killers, right?
Yeah,
so
you need. Yeah. And I think this is where a lot of franchises fail is getting the involvement of the casuals. So you might not convert them to like the FGC, but you want to put your game in their top 10, that they just go back to. And,
each game has a grid system between casuals and hardcore players.
Yeah. Yeah. And, small quality of life things like, Clippy the combo suggester make a hell of a difference.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about Under Night and Birth. Excuse me.
Animation's great.
Yeah, so
music's great.
Oh, music. We didn't talk about music. Yeah, music's good.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there's a running joke online where it's like, you've probably heard of Under Night if for no other reason than you heard the music in some video essay on YouTube's background.
Yeah, especially that piano like riff from whose stage is it? Is it Hyde's?
The only piano riff I can think of is like going into the character select screen.
Yeah. I'm trying to think is that you'll know when you hear it's that sort of whose stage is it from? I'm trying to think. But yeah, people play that in the background of their YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then other music I like is Macava's and Hilda's. But yeah, there's a bit of a desperation in the Macava's sort of stage music. Well,
it seems like you're meant to be stressed out when you're on that stage. Yeah.
Well, they do repeat. Yeah, but it's the theme of the music. And Hilda's is like really sort of like medley, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Hilda's voice actor is what made me turn the voices down on this game. In training mode, she has this. The voice acting is good. It's good, but like in training mode, if you fight against her, she'll say like, and it's in Japanese. She says something to the effect of like, "Oh, you're good," but it's in Japanese, and she just goes "Jozu," and she just says it non-fucking stop. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I chose you in the face in a minute to shut up. Like, yeah, it does your head in. I know, it annoys me too. That's why when you do training mode, don't pick her. But yeah. But even, is it Akatsuki? Even when I'm using him, sometimes I'm spamming moves and it's just like, nah, I could do probably turn the voices off. But yeah. I didn't have an issue with the voice acting generally, and the music's really good, but it's a shame we waited till the end to talk about it, but it delivers. I think it delivers on all fronts. It's does its job, and it does it. Doesn't get in the way of the game at all. It's there. It sets the tone. It's
nice. So if we were gonna rank it, what are your thoughts?
It's an above average game. I think we all agree on that. It's above average fighting game, particularly like for actual fighting. You know, I'd probably give this A+.
Yeah, I think A. I might go A, but like A+, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more harsh on it, I think, just because of the story. So B+.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Lack of single player content, A-.
Oh man, I got flipped around now. I'm the high guy. Oh man.
Nah, I'll go on an A then, because I was giving it an A+ just a second ago. Okay,
It is.
like, yeah, I think A is fair.
Yeah, it's like gameplay wise, fucking fantastic. It's just story wise. Let me know when you find it.
Yeah, and the characters are good too, so that they have something there. They just haven't nailed it yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just the story. I mean, presentation, graphics, music, art style, like all of that is extremely good. It's really just the story. It took a stinker.
Well, even the like the visual presentation, like it's famously good, in fact.
Oh, so good.
But yeah. So, and it's not Guilty Gear Strive, like where there's so much happening. There's too much happening in that game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it gets a little busy at times.
It does. And the backgrounds look too good. They're too distracting. So, yeah.
One of the
I'll agree with you there, Rick. A.
One of the best parts of watching, Demon play through games at times has been looking in the backgrounds, and sometimes you pick up details that you didn't notice before. And Guilty Gear is particularly bad for that, but this one, not as detailed, but it's still really, really well done. Like there's not as much going on, but it's still top notch.
Well, it's funny you say that, actually, because I don't know if you guys ever watch any of Babe Ruthless's videos on YouTube. She talks about stages in fighting games all the time. And I watch some of these videos, and she takes her ages to make them or release them. There's a lot of work in them. But I watch them, I go, well, get fucked. I didn't realize that, or I didn't notice that. All these games I've played so many hours for, because you're concentrating playing the game, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, when you sit there and you sort of spectate, like, oh, there's a guy like making his lunch in that, like,
yeah. Like,
and in the KOF sort of stages, you can see that it's over the top. You do notice shit, but like, you're like, she points out things in the background and like explains architecture and all sorts of shit. I'm like, oh, I didn't even give any thought to that. It's actually really interesting.
Yeah, like Strive, there's one stage where there's a water wheel on it, and there's like a block of apartments over, not in the immediate background, but it's like, I don't know, intermediate background. It's like, people standing in the windows. You just don't notice shit like that. But I think 2D anime fighters is like the perfect genre for that. And Under Night, they definitely got the chops to do it, but they've taken more of a, well, not, I wouldn't say basics, but they done it really well.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it on, unless anyone's got sort of any last sort of thoughts and comments on it. And again, thanks for coming on, Rick, because I knew you loved this game, so I was like, yep, perfect guy to ask.
Oh, thanks for having me.
To ask. Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
It was a long one as well.
I don't get a lot of opportunities to talk fighting games. And again, like I'm not an expert. I'm a passionate casual, but it's still a lot of fun. And Under Night is one that I wish more people could play. There are plenty of great anime fighters. Obviously Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, even Persona Ultimax is really good. But Under Night is just so special whenever you combine the moves with the art and the music. It's so much fun.
Yeah, if you haven't out there and you haven't given this a look, do. Especially the first one's pretty cheap on Steam and stuff, so there's really it's affordability wise, especially in these times, it's pretty affordable. Even the Under Night 2 wasn't that expensive. It was less than a AAA release. I think it was only like $60 or $70 or something, like Aussie, which would be what, 50-ish.
About $3.
So yeah, $10 American.
Under Night 2 right now is $50, $50 US dollars on Steam. So a bit pricey now, but they go on sale all the time.
They do, yeah. Just watch that space. Play the first one goes down to like $10 sometimes. So, I don't know what that would, what it goes down to on Steam and the US servers, but yeah, it's not unaffordable and it is worth it. And you can get it on Switch, which is really cool, so you can play it handheld.
Really?
And it's not too bad handheld either. Yeah. So, because sometimes you play games on that shitty Joy-Cons and stuff, and you're like, oh, this sucks, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So it's definitely not as good as a regular like fight stick or controller or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, it was good. We talked about our favorite 10 games of all time, and we didn't even go this long. So I just said that's what it's been a really, really good chat. So yeah, really enjoyed it. And hopefully we can get you on again for something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Invite me back anytime. Plenty of fighting games that I really like. I don't know, I'm not very good at any of them, but I like them.
I'm not good at this. Some I'm fucking terrible at. But like Dead or Alive would be another good one too, I think. Yeah. Because it's refreshing to hear it get brought up and talked about positively, because it is it's a good game. It is,
Absolutely. Or if I may be so bold as to stake a claim, if you guys ever you haven't done Fighters Megamix yet, have you?
No.
Okay.
No.
If you ever decide to tackle a Sega Saturn classic of Fighting Vipers and Virtua Fighter in the game Fighters Megamix, I'm your guy. I fucking love that game.
Oh, all right.
Hornet has the special
Chris Copeland, like you. I was going to say Chris Copeland goes on about that one. I played it. It's good. I haven't played it for a long time because I can't get it running on my Saturn, because I've got a Saru on my Saturn, and I got Fighting Vipers on the Xbox, like a sort of remaster type deal. So yeah, definitely, you can stake a claim if you want to. It'd be great to have you back on to talk about Fighters Megamixes or fucking blast.
Or if Chris wants to, like, give it to Chris first. But like, if he doesn't want to,
no, yeah, no, like, yeah, we can do a Mega Mix episode and have a few people on too. It's no worries at all. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. If people dibsing podcasts on the podcast, I love it.
Get them representing a character.
Exactly. Because we love our Saturn games. We're very pro Saturn on this podcast, and Saturnians like Chris Copeland and people who appreciate Saturn games like you, Rick. You definitely come on, talk about them.
Yeah,
it was a very good fighting game console. Very, very unappreciated for fighting games.
Yeah, well, it
definitely had the better ports.
Didn't do many things well, but fighting games was definitely where it really shined.
Good controller, good fighting games. The rest of it, everyone is fully aware of. Yeah. No Sonic games,
Well, it had 3D Blast.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah,
I guess I can understand decision making by Sega at the time, though. Like, I can understand 3D was the new hot thing, and you had to try to make everything 3D. But yeah, another 2D Sonic would have been great.
There was a lot more of the the documentary I sent you the other day. We spoke about it yesterday.
How GM and Holt, So what Jim's talking about is General Motors own a company, an Australian company that was called Holden, which make car makers, right? And you've got one sabotaging the other. And this was Sega of America and Sega of Japan fucking fighting each other all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously that most people gaming are well aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was basically head office telling the regional areas what to do. The regional areas going, and we're in the middle of Iowa. Nobody wants a fucking EV.
And head
office saying
people aren't going to play that.
You're gonna sell it, and then either willing sabotage or incompetence. Yeah. Sega Saturn, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. So don't smash controllers, everyone, and see you in the next one. And if you're feeling particularly generous, get on the Patreon and donate $1 to us every month so we can help pay for our Podbean.
Just before we go,
you're so kind.
Do you want to plug your?
Oh yes, Rick, plug your podcast.
Oh sure. I do a podcast called Pixel Project Radio. We do not weekly but weekly-ish episodes on just various games, going through narrative analysis, things like that. Not a lot of fighting games, but if you want something that's different from Jim and Demon's podcast, then you could do better, you could do worse. Pixel Project Radio. Demon was on for one episode. We did do a fighting game sort of pack, which I don't love to do, but we did do it. We talked about some Dragon Ball Fighters, Fighting Vipers, and what else? Marvel, MVC 2, right? Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, we did. Yep. Oh, it's fun. It was super fun to talk about Fighting Vipers, particularly.
Yes, that is a very special game. But Pixel Project Radio, you can find it wherever you get your podcasts, and check it out if you feel so inclined.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I fully recommend it. It's definitely I love the thought you put into it. See, you're more eloquently explain how you feel about the game than we do. I feel you give a very very detailed, very sort of. I'm trying to think about the best way of explaining it. Like,
you say stuff good.
What I like about you use words and good. I think Rick, you express your feelings about the game, like, and how it may, like, games you really have an emotional attachment to and things. I think you've explained that very well.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, I really like listening to that. So yeah, check it out.
It's something that not a lot of channels or podcasts tend to do. Forget what the game actually means to them.
The art, and the emotion behind some of the, like the attachment people have to some games.
Yeah.
So,
which is the whole reason we enjoy games in the first place.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
So don't smash your controllers listening to Hilda fucking tell you how good you are when you beat down on her. And we'll see you in the next one.
Have a good week, guys.
Win. Kill. Perfect.